I think in an effort to improve ourselves to change, we sort of force it. We sort of force ourselves to become these new things when we should allow ourselves. It's about allowing yourself to change, allowing yourself to become yourself. I feel like ultimately the point of why we're here and what we're doing is to find out who you are, to find out why you're here, and to find out, you know, what aligns most with you. And most of the time, that's not an action, that's not a thing, that's not a person. It's supposed to be you aligning with yourself, you aligning with who you are and your identity. And I feel like a lot of us get jumbled up trying to figure out who we are and how to navigate that. And I don't think it's supposed to be a forced navigation. And when I say allowing and becoming, I'm just talking about the unforced nature of it. It's about allowing yourself and being present enough to see the parts of you that seek out change and allowing them to change. It's about viewing yourself sort of in like a third person perspective and allowing yourself to carry out life, you know, to become it instead of, looking at it. And I feel like that's what the art of becoming is. Sort of the realization that who we are and what we do sometimes needs a funnel and sometimes needs a vessel for our expression. And I feel like once you truly become yourself, once you allow yourself to sort of seep through your own cracks, that's when life becomes blissful. That's when life becomes worth living. That's when it becomes something beautiful. Because you're no longer restrained by, your first prescribed identity or this first idea of yourself. Instead, you get to live in a reality that you choose. And that's not saying be delusional. That's not saying don't hold on to who you are. That's saying let yourself go. Just allow it. Not necessarily letting yourself go down a bad path. Of course, have intention. But in a sense, allowing yourself to be uncomfortable. Giving yourself grace and freedom enough to experience the discomfort of realizing who you are. Change isn't comfortable. Growth isn't comfortable. Confidence isn't comfortable. A lot of stuff we do isn't supposed to be a comfortable thing. And venturing into the unknown and exploring the parts of yourself that you may want to hide from are not going to be easy things to address. But that's not to say they're not important. I feel like who we are and what we do is ultimately based on how we feel about ourselves and how we allow ourselves to interact with us and the world around us. And the longer we wait to truly address who we are and truly address the problems that tend to pick at us, the longer we're going to be stuck being the person we don't like. How long are you going to wait till you start living your life? How long are you going to wait for life to happen? And I keep saying it in these videos, but life isn't a happening, it's a being. You're supposed to be the life. It's about becoming the life instead of trying to always see it. We spend a lot of time using our eyes and using our senses to try to understand who we are. But who we are is in here. Only like 1% of who we are is an external thing, and everything else is internal. And that's why I stress the importance of being a friend to yourself. If you're the only person that's with you 100% of the day, then you have to make that conscious intention to be there for you. It's very easy to get caught up in the nonsense of the world. Even today, me, I feel like I wasn't truly like being present with myself until like 7 o'clock. But that's okay. It's not about necessarily valuing yourself off your presence, but recognizing it. I feel like it's very important to have that conscious intention because at the end of the day, that's what leads to our goals. That's what leads to what we want to do. Being conscious enough to make those choices, being present enough to make the choice on whether to go down this path or that path and which path is going to lead to a future that you desire. It's about bringing that future to your present, not in the sense of just thinking about the future and distancing yourself from it, because we have a tendency to displace ourselves, our past and future self, and make them different versions of ourselves. But in reality, it's just us. That childlike nature that we still have, you can still have that. You can still look at the world and be joyful. You're allowed to do that. And you have to give yourself the freedom to drop your guard in a sense. Once you accept yourself for who you are, once you actually accept yourself, once you do it won't matter what other people recognize as a part of you, because the reality of it is no matter what you do, no matter what happens, As long as you have yourself, you have somebody, and you are somebody. You know, it's about recognizing that you're not insignificant, but you're not the most significant, but you should be the most significant to you. Not saying be selfish, but be selfless for yourself. You know, understand that you need things, understand that sometimes other people need stuff. And recognize that, you know, the parts of the world that, you know, you're lacking, the parts of yourself that you feel like you're lacking, or just stuff that you really need to give to yourself. You know, becoming and understanding yourself and becoming you. And I feel like this becoming is something I'm stressing a lot, because that's what I feel like I've truly been able to develop as a person, just by this idea of becoming. And I didn't really understand what it meant until I saw a guy talk about like the art of becoming. But, you know, writing, doing something creative, doing something that expresses you in, you know, if you're not so good with your words, something that expresses you in other ways. And for me, it was writing. You know, allowing yourself to sort of bleed out onto the paper, allowing yourself to bleed out into your lyrics, into your art, into anything. And it's not about how good or bad it is. It's about just doing. You know, we're all artists. You have to create something. And sometimes our art looks very different. Sometimes people's art may be in a video game. Sometimes might be in something else. It's all about what language speaks to you and what makes you feel most like yourself. I feel like that's ultimately the most important thing that we as people have to understand. That no one else is going to do it for us. You know, no one else is going to take the time to tell you who you are, or to tell you an accurate depiction of who you are. They're just going to tell you whatever they want. They're going to tell you whatever reflection of themselves they see in you. And you have to realize what reflection of you see in you. You know, are you looking at yourself and seeing something positive? Or are you looking at yourself and seeing something negative? And if it's negative, you have to recognize what parts are causing that negativity. And recognize that you're responsible for getting rid of those parts. Not getting rid, but renovation. You know, it's not necessarily about casting away. Because I feel like what we put behind us, we carry on our back. It's about addressing the issue and sort of transmuting it into something more positive. That's what I feel like, you know, we have to start doing. Back when I had the mindset of, you know, cast aside and get rid of, I feel like we hide. We're hiding from ourselves. And there's a lot of insecurity within this idea that, you know, if we put stuff behind us, if we hold ourselves back, if we bottle it up, you know, the reality is, you know, something or someone or some circumstance made us feel bad, and we're hiding from it. So we cast it off and reject it as a part of us, which is rightfully so. But in an effort to do so, we're making it part of us. We're making that part of ourselves that is hide from us. But it's still within us. You know, you have to sort of address it and allow it to get over that issue, that sting. Because a lot of times it's mental. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. You know, don't suffer twice. You know, remember the lesson, forget the teacher sometimes. And that's, you know, that's with some things, be moral, of course. But understand that, you know, sometimes you're not pulling your own strings. And sometimes you need to do stuff to realize that. Sometimes you need to do stuff to start pulling. You know, it's about understanding your individual pieces and parts and understanding what you need for specific moments. It's not always going to be a case where you're like, oh, wow, I'm just going to be happy all the time. I'm just going to hold this up. You know, that's what I've been trying to do. And, you know, to some extent it works. But you always come across certain situations that make you stop. And you have to be willing to alter your perspective. Be willing to take that discomfort for the moment to allow yourself to be blissful in the future. You know, it's about continually choosing yourself. You have to choose yourself. You know, I feel like a lot of times we choose others. A lot of times we choose our perception, how we're looked at. But you have to really choose yourself. You know, those little instincts, the little pieces and parts of your personality that you hide from the world. Learn to love them for yourself. I'm not necessarily saying hide them from the world or show them to the world. I'm saying make sure you're at least expressing it to yourself. If you like drawing, you like art, maybe you're bad at it, but maybe you like doing it. Do it just to do it. Do things just for what they do to you. Don't focus so much on the outcome, but focus on how it makes you feel. Life is too mundane, and there's too much negativity going around for us to be too caught up in it, you know. And if we can't see the positivity, we have to be it. You have to bring it to yourself and understand that everything exists on the same field. You know, all that positivity that you once felt, you know, maybe the whole vibe of maybe it was the vibe was up. You know, it's good. Everything's going great in your life. And then everything's going bad. You have to realize that it's your mind doing this. You know, circumstances, of course. You know, respectfully, stuff happens that makes us, you know, teeter-totter. But I think the fundamental realization that we have to have is that no matter what happens, as long as we're still alive and okay, you know, still in the same area, I'm talking about the mundane things, non-moral things. As long as we have the realization that everything exists all at once, you know, that positivity and negativity, they all coexist. And it's about tuning into the certain frequency, tuning into that vibration of happiness, of sadness, or whatever, and being willing to experience the discomfort of shifting. You know, sometimes you want to be negative, sometimes you want to experience certain things, and you have to willingly choose not to because of what it means to you and what it means for you. It's about pressing yourself forward. You know, that's what I feel like discipline is. Making the choice for yourself. Always choosing you. And that's not necessarily a short run, you know. Short-term gratification isn't always a good thing. It's not. It's about realizing that, you know, even denying short-term gratification can be gratification for you in the moment. You know, having pride in yourself and understanding that you're actually caring for yourself. I feel like it's a form of self-love to reject some sort of short-term gratification sometimes. Like when I wake up in the morning, I choose not to look at my phone or social media until I complete like 3 different tasks. You know, that's not, of course I want to go on my phone. I'm depriving myself of something I feel like I want. But in not doing so, I'm understanding that I don't need it, first of all, and I need to tend to myself. You know, always putting myself as a priority in my own life and in my own perspective. That's not saying I don't care about other people. I don't worry about them, but saying that I also recognize that I'm a person. I feel like a lot of us forget that. We forget that we have our own lives to live. We have our own story to write. You know, we oftentimes live in this reality where the lives of others sort of get glorified. We fail to realize that everybody's a person. Everybody's just a human, and at the end of the day, that's all we can be. All you can be is human. All you can be is that reflection. It's just about recognizing it and seeing yourself. Seeing yourself in everything and everyone. You know, I feel like once you get to that point, that's when you start becoming. Becoming yourself. You know, because you are nothing but the relation to everything. And especially the relation to you, yourself. So if you made it this far in the video, I hope this made some sense. I really did. It's a subject I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but I feel like it's kind of hard to articulate. You know, the whole idea of becoming, the whole idea of, you know, splitting who you are into your certain expressions and bringing it all together all at once. You know, but all in all, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, I did. It was very fun to talk about. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's doing great. If you're watching this, I probably tried to go live yesterday. Probably didn't work. My computer's messed up. But hey, y'all, check it out. I got new parts coming, so my computer issues will be no more. I also have a video camera coming, so I'm about to start doing videos. Let me know, because I like this background. But how y'all feeling about me doing outdoor videos? And then I can start doing podcasts out the way. We're going to start turning this channel up, y'all. So stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Thank you if you didn't make it this far. I appreciate all of you. Love all of you. Keep being y'all. Keep being great. Keep being intentional. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, being a friend of yourself, and everything else. And then, no, I'm not going to show y'all this time. Just have a nice day.